everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my tag team partner, Tim from Pro Wrestling Unlimited. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, just coming off of a long week into a long weekend, but hey, we can finally rest. WrestleMania week is over. I'm no longer out of town for work, so yeah, having fun now.
Yes.
I mean, it was all fun, but you know what I mean, calming down.
I was going to say, so you were in Dallas last week, so the home of WrestleMania 38 now, 3 years ago now. So,
and 32.
That's right. And then I feel like, oh, yeah, that's right. All In's going to be there in a couple months now.
I literally drove by that stadium 4 times.
Nice. That's a cool little area where Cowboy Stadium and where the Rangers, the Texas Rangers play their baseball games, the baseball stadium. They're just literally like across the street from each other. So it's a cool area. So, but yes, Tim, thank you so much for helping me out tonight. As you can see from the title of this podcast, of this episode, this is our WrestleMania 41 Night 1 review. Sorry for the delay. It just, for me personally, watching 4+ hours of wrestling on Saturday and then Sunday and then get to work. And it's just like, it's been nonstop. So I think I speak for all the wrestling fans. It's been a lot of wrestlings over the last few days. So now finally here we are on a Tuesday. Had a few days to process everything. I rewatch a few matches back on Peacock and just process everything, get my thoughts together. And so, yes, this is going to be our full review of night 1. Then we're going to do a separate episode for night 2. And then a separate episode for Raw After Mania. Because first off, just spoiler alert, it was awesome. Finally, Raw After Mania had a lot of stuff to talk about there.
Yes.
So normally, like if I do a pay-per-view review after it's aired, I usually maybe include the fallout from Monday Night Raw. But Monday Night Raw this week had a lot going on, so I think that deserves its own separate episode. And then a lot of news came out from this weekend as well that Tim, I know you were covering on your website and your YouTube channel. So I definitely appreciate your expertise for that. But for the sake of just for everyone's easy listening, this episode right here is just focused on night 1 of WrestleMania. And so, yeah, let's jump right into it, Tim. So 7 matches on the card this past Saturday, night 1 of WrestleMania in Las Vegas at Legion Stadium, the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, which is hard to say because here I am in the Bay Area and I feel bad for my fellow Oakland Raider fans out there. Even though I'm a Niners fan personally, but it's just still weird to me seeing all that Las Vegas Raiders gear out there. And then some of the gifts that were given to the WWE superstars, all this Las Vegas Raiders stuff. And I'm like, I just feel bad for it.
Did you hear Cole go Los Angeles Raiders and go, oh, that's way back in the day?
God damn, that was I mean, that's like 80s and up to the mid 90s before they moved back to Oakland. So he's having flashbacks there. But let's go into it. Let's start big, kind of like a general takeaways, and then we'll go down the card and talk about each match that happened. So yeah, Tim, I'll just throw it to you. What were your overall takeaways from night 1 of WrestleMania?
So I got my notes here on, all the matches and who won what and whatnot. And as I look at them, I'm like, it started good. I wouldn't say Jey Uso and Gunther was a great match. Yeah. I thought it was better than the Saturday night's main event match. And I thought it was really good. Okay. We had decent matches throughout. I thought night 2 was the better night overall, but night 1 had the best match of the weekend in that main event. So I thought the main event was amazing.
I am very much with you. I think night 1 in the history books now, looking back on it, now that WrestleMania 41 is in the books now, in the past, I think night 1 will be remembered for an amazing main event. And then the rest of the show leading up to that was kind of average, not too much to bite into. And I think really were a lot of memorable moments, as they say. I'm with you. I think outside of like Jey Uso winning the title, Jacob Fatu getting his big title win, his first singles title win in WWE. Yeah, not too much happened there. It was interesting. I think it's not one particular issue. I think it's multiple things. One, I felt the crowd was just a little dull on night 1. Now, granted, I rewatched some of it on Peacock on my headphones versus my speakers, on my computer speakers. I definitely think the audience sounded better on my headphones. I don't know why. I guess like, so, it's a little detail. So I don't know how people listen to, I'm sure most people watch on TV if they're not in the stadium. But yeah, I thought for the most part the crowd was a little mellow, or I wish could have shown a little more energy. Now, granted, it's a busy weekend. Maybe they're saving their energy for
For all we
two,
know, they'd
night
already
two.
seen like 7 shows with all those collective shows and
Totally.
everything else going on. Wale Mania,
SmackDown, Hall of Fame, Stand Deliver.
Oh, and if you went to Hall of Fame, you were there till midnight.
Yeah, WrestleCon. There's so much going on in wherever city WrestleMania is being held at. So, also, let's be real. There's a lot of heels winning on night one. So, you know, from a fan's perspective, there's not too much you want to cheer for when a lot of heels are winning on paper. And then also, I think the other thing too is some of these matches were kind of thrown together last minute with not the best storyline going into it or the best build. I mean, that's kind of, I think, one argument a lot of people had was like, some of these matches just had a little bit of underwhelming build for this WrestleMania. So maybe I think a lot of people maybe just didn't have that emotional connection to some of these matches. I'm just trying to speculate, you know, from the mental perspective of people in attendance.
Well, we know with the Rey Mysterio injury, Rey Fenix and El Grande Americano didn't have much time to put that match together because they were still hoping in the morning Rey was going to be good. And they were advertising it as Rey, but as we learned, Rey did suffer a torn groin.
Was that from the spot on SmackDown when one of the Creed brothers pulled him out of the ring?
Yes,
was that
exact spot?
I saw that.
And Brian Alvarez talks about this all the time because it's happened to him. He said sometimes you do the easiest of spots that you've done 30 million times, and that's where you get injured. You do something crazy, and you're fine. It's always like Kevin Nash tore quad walking in the ring.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done that too. I've walked and I've I popped my Achilles once, and it was just like walking to a parking lot at work one time years ago. It was simple walking. I think I stepped over like a curb or something like that, if I remember correctly. And it was just like,
dang.
You're right. It's the littlest thing. But yeah, I remember watching that SmackDown because I watched it after kind of news was coming out. I was playing catch up on SmackDown, and I saw the spot where the Creed brother pulled out Rey. And
I think it was Julius, because Rey said on the pre-show, he said there's an incident in the match with Julius Creed that's nobody's fault or something like that. He's like, but unfortunately, I am injured and I can't compete today.
Yeah, and then as soon as he hit the ground, I saw one of his hands like kind of reach over to the inner thigh. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's where it was. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't know, like I think a lot of people were kind of little. Yeah, just thought night one just felt a little average. There wasn't like, I think, a lot of surprises. There wasn't like a lot of big moments. I think for a lot of people's expectations, I think it was a little underwhelming night one outside the main event, which we'll get into.
I think because night one was overly predictable.
Yeah, that's true. That is very much true. So let's go get into it. So
one last thing I want to ask you though. You mentioned the crowd earlier. You see that people got to sit on the stage? Fans were on the stage.
One of my buddies did. I saw him. He posted.
How did he get up there? Do you know?
I will text him and ask him how did he pull that off.
So I've seen a couple different. I've seen a couple different things. I saw one girl post that because like I guess this is one girl. I don't follow her content, but she's on TikTok and Instagram and all that or whatever. I don't know. And she posted something about I'm sitting on the stage. You've probably seen me on screen, but I'm not allowed to post any reactions or videos due to who I'm working for. I don't know what she meant by that. Then I saw another video just randomly popped up on my Instagram today that said, we got upgraded for Mania because our section that we bought tickets in got roped off by the company in production. So they got moved to the stage because their seats got used for something else, I guess.
Okay.
And I guess like she was up on one of the upper areas, but for entrances, they let her run down and watch from the side of the stage.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Yeah. Well, I just texted my buddy. Thank you for reminding me about that. So hopefully he responds to me shortly, and then we can get some explanation from him. So night one of WrestleMania, kind of a little bit of a shocker. It opened up with the World Heavyweight Championship match between Gunther defending against Jey Uso, a story we know that's been going back for the last few months, and going back to, as you mentioned, December, Saturday night's main event, but also Jey and Gunther have had some matches last year, but really since Jey won the Royal Rumble for the last 2.5 months, it's been this build, and it finally picked up a couple weeks ago when Gunther took out Jimmy, busted him open. Jey was stuck tied in the corner, and we had this match here to open up here. Very typical match as far as, you know, the big bad Gunther here kind of dominating Jey early on, who was very much the underdog, and finally Jey got the comeback. And I'll talk about the finish here in a second, but kind of your takeaways on this opening match here.
Like I said already, I thought it was not. I would, if I'm going to give it a rating, I would say 3.75 or a 4. I wouldn't say it's a 5-star match or anything.
Yeah.
It was better than the Saturday night's main event match. But what I did like is I didn't expect the submission finish.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So the finish here, we saw Jay counter the power bomb into his own power bomb, and then Jay hit a few super kicks, a spear, and then an Uso slash, and he hit a couple more. Even the last one, I think it was 3 in a row. The last one on Gunther's back. Instead of going for the cover, Jay put Gunther in a sleeper hold, as you said, and shockingly, Gunther tapped out. And Jay won the world title. And oh wait, my buddy's texting me right now, so I can say this. Let's see. A friend knows someone who works for WWE. She got us seat filler tickets, and those were the seats they asked us to fill.
Okay, so
interesting.
That goes in line with something I saw, that it was a last minute decision to put the seats there.
Interesting. That's very cool. Okay. I am with you. I thought the sleeper hold, the submission was very surprising. And I think that's why maybe the crowd didn't have like that initial, like, oh my God, pop explosion right away. It was like a little bit of a delay.
Well, it was that. And Gunther had like a kind of weak tap out too. So you kind of, especially if you were there, you probably didn't notice that he was tapping and thought maybe he was just flailing his arms.
Yeah, you could probably, depending on your angle of the ring.
Exactly.
You know, it's a football stadium. You could be sitting way up in the 4th deck and you can't see a tap out happening. So yeah, it felt a little bit underwhelming. I think the crowd's initial reaction, it took a little bit of a delay. People were like, oh, he won. Oh, all right. Yeah.
Right.
Jay won. All right. Finally. So everyone got excited. And let me ask you though, you think it would have been better if it was a pinfall there?
I think yes, because we would have got that pop on the 1, 2, 3.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like,
the reaction would have been better. It was still good once, you know, they realized he won, the bell rings, they say Jey Uso. But I think if the ref was counting 1, 2, 3, you would have had the crowd chanting along. You would have had the 3 and then boom, the eruption.
That's the thing. It's listen, submissions versus a pinfall. Obviously, pinfalls are way more exciting in the world of pro wrestling. This moment, though, it's Jay who's so over. I thought, yeah, pinfall would have been more entertaining from him. I thought him hitting the multiple frog splash was great. And maybe he could hit like a 4th one or something. And you get the ref going 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. The crowd would have erupted perfectly timing. But yeah, you're right. The submission, it was kind of hard to see, especially the type of submission. It was a sleeper. Yeah. So, you know, Jay is on Gunther's back. They're laying in the middle of the ring. So it looks like 2 guys cuddling in the middle of the ring. So from, like I said earlier, from your viewpoint, it can be tough to tell what's going on until you hear the bell ring. You're like, oh, that's what happened. My only thing is, the good thing about the sleeper is, keep in mind, Jay put it on Gunther, who applied it to Jimmy a few weeks ago when he busted him open, bleeding him everywhere. And so it's almost like he got revenge on Gunther by taking him out with the move they took his brother out with. And,
right.
And the fact that Gunther, you know, tapped out so quickly, I guess he's kind of putting over his own finisher, or one of his finishers, that, you know, a sleeper hold is a very deadly submission move. So I guess if Gunther ever does it again in the future, it's you know, hey, it's a sign that that's a really powerful submission hold. So that's
if I'm like looking at it from a what makes sense standpoint, and this is now me just making up my own storyline, it would be more of the Jade's never beat him with the pin, try something different.
Yeah, that's the only thing too. It was just a little bit shocking. Like I said, for Gunther, I think for Jay, especially for his first world title, it would have been really cool just to get that 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And I think that would just been a more fun, emotional moment, especially you look back at other moments similar, like Kofi Mania and other. I think if you're going to use a submission to pick up the victory, especially for a world title, it's got to be a submission hold that I think a lot of people can see visually going on. Like, you know, for example, like, you know, Kurt Angle, you know, the ankle lock, you know, he's standing up, the person's on the ground, you know, there's a lot of space because the body's stretched out. So you visually, depending where you're at, you could see when the person just starts tapping, like wailing their arm. That's a cool finisher, I think, in a situation like that to pick up a big victory. But yeah, just I think a sleeper was. If they had to do it again, I wish they would have done a pinfall. So,
well, and then it's the other thing. It's like, well, people wouldn't think that's the finish because when has Jay ever won with a submission?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why you go, oh, he's got him in there. He's got him in. He's going to try and beat him with his own move, but he's probably going to get out of it because he knows everything about the rear naked choke. And then,
yeah.
It's like when he started doing the spear on Roman and everyone's like, oh, he can't beat Roman with his own move.
So, and that's kind of WWE's formula is I think for like these big matches, they like the two guys kind of use each other's finisher, and then the other guy uses the other person's finisher, kind of like we saw with Cena and Cody, which we could talk about next episode. So yeah, it was a fine opening match. I mean, Gunther, let's be real, he's one of the great wrestlers right now in today's world, this generation. So I think he made Jey Uso look like $1 million. Jay, to his credit, as the underdog, I think was selling this beat down he was getting from Gunther. Made the big comeback to pick up the win. Shocker to see Gunther kind of get desperate and use a title to hit Jay in the head. Right. That was kind of a shocker because Gunther's not known for doing that. So
I will give him kudos on how they got the referee to not be paying attention, though.
Yes.
Because we see so many times where the ref's just kind of there, heel cheats, and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
At least the ref was like diving out of the way. Not paying. Yeah.
Exactly. So congrats, Jay. Very cool moment. Jimmy back, first time back since that beatdown. Celebrate with his brother in the ring, went up the crowd. So it was just a cool moment.
Did you hear what Jimmy said in the press conference about Jay? Jay said in the press conference about Jimmy showing up in the ring.
No, what he said?
He goes, "I had no clue my brother was going to be there. If I knew, I would have told him to dress up a little more."
No,
no, you need to go watch Jay's press conference. He was either drunk or high again.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, you know
he made fun of some French reporter with a French accent.
Oh my God. Well, here's the thing. He was the first match, and then the press conference was 4 hours later. So of course he's probably been partying for 4 hours celebrating a victory for him. So very happy for Jay. What's next for him? Well, we could touch on that when we talk about Raw After Mania in the coming episodes there. There's a lot to break down on.
I don't know what's next, but I think I know what they're teasing.
Okay. I think so too. I'm with you. So that's a tease. You gotta keep listening to Future's episode in the Kliq when we talk about Raw After Mania. All right, moving on up to the second match for the World Tag Team titles is the War Raiders defending against the New Day. A match here, like I mentioned earlier, that's just kind of thrown together like within the less than 2 weeks after the War Raiders. New Day had their match a couple weeks ago on Raw, ended in DQ. New Day demanded a rematch, so they got the rematch on WrestleMania. I said before in predictions, I just feel bad for all the tag teams on SmackDown who've been busting their ass, telling more compelling stories over the last few months. They did not get a tag team match at WrestleMania and said it was on SmackDown. These guys, I mean, I want to blame them. It's creative, the powers that be, but like not much has gone on Raw with the tag team division. And yet they're the ones who get the tag team match at WrestleMania. So that was a little bit of a bummer for the SmackDown tag teams.
How many times has the Viking Raiders even shown up on Raw? Like, granted, it's probably not them. They're healthy. It's not like one of them's hurt, but it's like you barely even see the Raw tag team champions.
Yeah. I mean,
and like you said with SmackDown, they're on there every week. I mean, next week they got a TLC match. Why couldn't that have been night one of WrestleMania?
Exactly. I'm with you. Do the DQ finish from SmackDown. Have the rematch the next day at night one. I think that would have been so much better and more deserving to the Street Profits and everyone else involved. So anyway, for this match here, the main story here was the New Day working on the War Raiders next, because both of them, as we all know, have had neck surgery within the last couple of years and a big recovery. So that was more of this match. The New Day as heels working over the War Raiders necks here. The finish, or towards the end finish, we saw Xavier Woods distract the ref while Kofi tripped over Ivar on the ropes, and then New Day got rid of Eric and then hit Ivar with the up, down, down, and then Xavier Woods pinned Ivar, and then while Kofi was holding down Ivar's feet out of the ref's vision there for the win. And I love the New Day's reaction. They're like, "Oh my God, we just stole a victory!" And so they ran down, grabbed the titles, and ran up the ramp like they just a big heist.
The picture WWE got of them holding the belts up and Kofi's eyes. I'm like, oh, dang. The question for you on this one. Did this match feel a lot shorter than the opener for you?
it went by faster,
because
definitely.
it felt like it was like a 5-minute, 6-minute match, but it was almost 10 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that.
It didn't feel that long, and I was like, I wonder if it was just me doing other things at the same time, or
There's
that photo looks like that Triple H wax statue at the World.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a pretty decent pace match. But yeah, that's the thing. It's just I think there's not a lot of heat in this match going into it, other than just it was a rematch from Raw from 2 weeks ago.
What I would have liked, again, getting back on some fantasy booking stuff, we had that DQ finish in the previous match, and then the War Raiders kept saying we're bringing war. So I kept going, oh, is this gonna be a Viking war match? Like when they bring the boat down and everything, that would have been cool. We already had the street fight for night 2, so give us another street fight for night 1, and it kind of balances things out. But it just went straight up 9-minute match.
I was gonna say not a lot of over the top entrances this year. If I think about it, Seth had the flamethrower.
Like 4 people come out in a car. Like that was all the same.
CM Punk had Living Color. Who else? Let's see. LA Knight had the car. Jade had the weatherman. So okay,
he wasn't even dressed to storm. Like, come on.
So, but no, this match it was fine. I had a couple good moments there, but yeah, it was not the most like over the top match. I mean, who was it? It was Ivar. He almost slipped when he was doing the moonsault. Yeah. That was kind of scary. Luckily, he turned his body just enough around to land on the New Day in the middle of the ring. This match was fine. It's just more of a bummer. War Raiders kind of had like a very uneventful title reign. They had a couple title matches outside of since their victory from the Judgment Day. They picked those titles off them. So I hope with the New Day as heels, this is going to freshen up the tag team division, and some good babyface tag teams can go after them. I think the New Day with their legacy, they are future Hall of Famers, they're big names. Hopefully that will spark the tag team division and get that tag team division going and tell some more compelling storylines on Raw leading up to future PLEs or future Saturday night main events. Because the tag team division on Raw needs it. It needs an adrenaline rush. It needs a shot of energy. It's really dull right now. It's boring. It's barely non-existent. So that's my big frustration with the tag team division. And then that's why this match, I think, just felt a little flat for me. Just because there was nothing to really get like super excited for, other than the New Day. Shout out to them, their Giant Gonzalez inspired ring gear coming out. So that was
cool WrestleMania 9 callback.
Exactly. So very smart in their part.
I loved. Did you watch the WrestleMania 9 documentary on Peacock?
I have not. I mean, I saw some clips. I saw
So there was one. It's not a spoiler or anything. But Bruce Pritchard goes, the Giant Gonzalez costume was not what we wanted it to look like from what we drew up. It's supposed to look like the hair like hanging off of the costume, and the costume wasn't supposed to look so like comic or like cartoony. He's like, but then in the end, it just didn't work like we thought it was. But I'm looking here. When War Raiders won the championships in December, mid-December, they only defended it, not counting Mania, 1, 2, 3, 4 times in 4 months.
So like once a month. Wow.
Once in January, once in February, once in March, and 4 times. And then the DQ match in April that led to this match. So once a month.
Oh, jeez. All right, match number 3, Jade Cargill taking on Naomi. This match, I will say, did have a lot of emotion built into it. Obviously, the storyline here, we find out Naomi's the one who took out Jade Cargill months ago, pushed her off in the backstage area onto a car. Jade was knocked out or gone for months, comes back, gets her revenge at Elimination Chamber, and been hunting Naomi for revenge ever since then. Got the match here. Naomi's full heel now, admitted she took out Jade. Got her like new gimmick now, like the proceed with caution look. I thought was cool. I like how she even did her hair. You know, hair usually is like big, puffy, like it's part of her high energy entrance and stuff. Part of her look. I like that she kind of had like, it was like more of a wet look, like down.
Natural.
Yeah. And then I love her entrance music. It was like metal, heavy metal theme. So just kind of more of an intimidating look for her. So I love this new presentation of Naomi as a heel, and I hope they embrace it more. The match itself, I do want to give Naomi credit. I really felt like she was kind of leading the charge.
100%.
For this first half, especially. I think Jade Cargill, for right now, based on her in-ring experience, her offensive set is very basic. She's going to do a lot of basic offense. Like, I saw at one point, she threw Naomi in the corner and just ran and just jumped and leaped into her. Like that. That's her big, like, splash move. Like, throw them in the corner, run and jump and splash into them. Like, that's very basic. However, Jade is known for, since she's just such an amazing athlete, her strength, her big power spots are the big draws. Those big moments are really cool.
Now, for me, not to cut you off, but for me, I felt like when Jade was gone to when she got attacked and came back, like she still had a great body, but she was a little slim, like slimmer than she was before. I felt.
Oh, really?
To me, she looked just like a little bit, not like skinny or anything like I'm not saying like she transformed, but it was like she was still super muscular, but I felt like more lean and not as like super as powerful as she would normally look. That was just my opinion.
Okay, that's interesting. I'll have to take a look back and kind of side by side comparison. But yeah, that's the thing is, so Jade, you're just waiting for her to do these big power spots. My only issue is sometimes it takes a little while to set up, and that's kind of like, I think kind of ruins the momentum of some of these matches with her. Also, her selling, some of the stuff, it was just like, I think her selling was just not believable. It's like, come on, like.
But think about it. How often when she's been wrestling since what, 2019, 2020? And how often does she have to settle in AEW?
I know, right? She's so used to squash
and then
matches.
Since she's been in WWE, she's mostly been tagging. So it's like a lot of times she's on the apron while her partner's in the ring doing the majority of the stuff. So
yeah, she gets the hot tag.
Like, I get why bring her straight to the main roster and signing her, but she's one, and I've said this about Megan Bayne, if WWE can eventually get Megan Bayne, would benefit from the PC, NXT, and learning.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's the thing. Jade Cargill, though, towards the end, we saw her get on top rope in the corner. I like that Naomi brought her down with an avalanche bulldog. That was a cool spot there. Naomi fall with a split leg moonsault for a near fall, and then Naomi applied Rings of Saturn, but Jade powered up to her feet and got Naomi on her shoulders. This was incredible. Jade, so she had Naomi on her shoulders like an electric chair. She then like pop up power bomb, threw her up in the air, spin her around, and transitioned into a power bomb. And then she hit the Jade for the win. I thought that was an incredible spot right there. That sequence.
Yeah, no, I liked the match. I felt like it would have probably been a great SmackDown match and could have given something else the Mania spotlight. But overall, I think it had a good enough story to suffice being on the Mania card.
Yeah, exactly. So where they go from here, I mean, it kind of looks like one and done at this point.
Well, do you want to know what Jade at one point was going to do at WrestleMania?
Sure, go ahead.
So if you guys haven't seen the preview it's called WWE Unreal. It is WWE's behind the scenes show coming to Netflix. Right. Well, early on in that trailer, there's a quick shot of like a creative meeting. I guess it's in Stanford. And you see a bunch of whiteboards. The far right whiteboard has a preliminary WrestleMania card on it for this year's Mania. And I assume, we don't know when this was filmed, but I assume it's before Royal Rumble because Jey Uso's name is not on this card or like on this board at all. And at one point, I'm going to pull this up just to double check so I don't say it wrong.
Okay.
At one point, the Jade Cargill match was actually, let me tell you that I'm glad it's Jade and Naomi. It was with the WWE Women's Championship on the line. Don't know who the champ would have been, but it was Jade versus Nia Jax.
Interesting.
That was at one point penciled in.
And both women, they need a good dance part in the ring, but they're not the leaders of that dance.
Here's the funny thing. Both women are good when Naomi is leading them.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of Nia's better matches are the Naomi matches that she's had. So,
absolutely. Naomi, it's great.
When seeing that, and that's just not me just coming up with stuff saying, oh, I heard this. No, this comes from WWE themselves.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can't dispute, oh, your sources are wrong or anything. But it's like, so that would have meant Tiffany's was a failed cash-in, or Nia got the belt back.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God.
Yeah. Think about how different things. And again, we don't know when this was filmed. So we don't know if this was August, September, October, November, December. But we know at one point in this documentary, Triple H goes up to Jay and says, we're going to push you. And that's when he's told he's winning the Rumble. So I assume this is late December, early January, just speculating. So Tiffany would have already been the champion. And somehow Nia gets it back in one multiversal strand.
Wow. Oh my God. Damn, that's crazy to think about. I definitely am curious about that show. And
I mean, also they had penciled in Punk and Seth challenging Gunther.
I saw that too. That
what?
Crazy. Actually, let's save that because I see the debate online. Is this show revealing too much? And so we can save that for our Raw After Mania.
Triple H just asked about that because he also said he doesn't like spoilers and things getting out about the backstage process. But then his thing was, well, it's already happened, so I don't care if they learn stuff afterwards. I just don't want them to know stuff before it happens.
I saw that too. So, all right, we'll get into that in a coming episode. All right, match number 4 was LA Knight defending the U.S. Championship against Jacob Fatu. This match I was looking forward to. One, just super happy for Jacob Fatu. Obviously, if you listen to the podcast, you know we love Jacob Fatu. He's a Bay Area guy, so he was definitely all the fans here in the Bay Area were super happy and excited for him to get his big WrestleMania moment, his first WrestleMania match. So everyone here was just super proud and excited for him. And I know he's a heel, but I'm sure inside he was just super happy. And, I would love to kind of, hear from him one day, just what it meant for him to get that match. So
the crowd was happy for him.
Yes. And first off, so LA Knight comes out, or Jacob comes out first. Solo is walking with him, but stops at the top of the ramp, leaves, and Jacob comes out. He has that cool, like, Samoan werewolf inspired mask.
Loved it.
That was awesome. He comes out the ring. LA Knight comes up in the sports car, and he goes into the ring. The match itself, I thought it really started picking up in the second half. It was really cool when was it Jacob going for the moonsault and was able to counter into the BFT.
Yeah.
It was not perfectly clean, but still was awesome to watch and see that spot right
there. And to be honest with that match, I liked that it wasn't clean because it made it feel more like a fight.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the thing. I think some fans expect the match to be super crisp. But realistically, if you ever see a street fight, like an actual fight in the streets, it is not clean. It is like hands wailing, feet wailing, people pushing, shoving, off balance. It's never clean. It's not like a boxing match you see in the ring. So, so with that being said, sometimes clunkiness is more realistic in many ways. So as I said, let's see. Jacob set for the moonsault, but LA Knight ran up the ropes, hit the avalanche release, German suplex for 2. Jacob came back with the super kick, and then 3 running hip attacks and a senton bomb for a 2 count. So LA Knight took a beating right there, but survived that. The crowd started chanting for both guys for the next spot. Like I said, Fatu went for a moonsault, but Knight caught him as he fell into a BFT. Very cool spot right there. Looked like LA Knight was about to get the win, but Jacob got the rope break for 2, and then Jacob hit his senton with LA Knight draped over the top rope, and then he followed with a senton bomb and consecutive moonsaults for the pinfall win. Honestly, it was a shocker because I thought Solo was going to get involved and interfere, cost Jacob the match, and LA Knight retains, and then Jacob gets pissed at Solo, and that sets up their match or rivalry. But no Solo. Jacob picked up a clean victory here. So what are kind of your thoughts on Jacob getting this clean victory?
Oh, I thought it was great. And Jacob needs that pay bonus for them 7 kids.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You're the champion. You get the pay bump. But no, I thought it was great. I always thought Jacob Fatu was going to win in the crowd. And I know we're not talking about this in this episode, but just real quick, The Rock was like, hey, one of my brothers, Jacob Fatu, and the way the crowd, he's supposed to be a bad guy, but the crowd totally behind him winning that title. Like, crowd from the day he showed up, the crowds loved Jacob Fatu.
Real talk. That's the thing. Even though he's a heel, but he does so many cool things in the ring, especially a guy his size.
And he can cut a hell of a promo.
An emotional promo that when you see him talk, you're like, whoa. Like you're just staring at him like he is speaking into my soul. And you just feel the raw emotion. And he's a man of few words, but he speaks with such powerfulness. It's amazing. But he's been doing it for anyone here in the Bay Area who's been watching wrestle for the last decade. We know that from him, and that's why we love him. And so it's just cool. The rest of the world is seeing that now over the last year since he's joined the company. So kudos to Jacob Fatu. Super happy for him. Now, what's next for Jacob on SmackDown as the U.S. champion? That's going to be interesting. So I wonder if we're going to see a lot of baby faces in that mid-card level go after him now. That's going to be interesting to see because, spoiler alert, John Cena, WWE champion. I'm guessing he's going to stay on SmackDown. Presumably, he's going to stay on SmackDown.
I would assume based off of who his next opponent's going to be.
Exactly. So, with that being said, Jacob, he's second in line now as far as champions go. He's the U.S. champion. So I wonder if he's going to get a lot of love on SmackDown week to week, defending that title, storyline angle. So I'm just super excited. What's next for Jacob coming out of the fallout from
Rey Fénix?
Yeah, totally. Just throw everything at him. It's going to be incredible seeing all that stuff.
Because I'm looking at the SmackDown roster, and it's like baby faces that can challenge him.
Yeah.
Rey Fénix. Do an LA Knight rematch, I guess. There's not really many of those, like Damian Priest, Braun Strowman. They can go back to that.
Yeah.
Maybe Andrade. Because Andrade's kind of like a tweener in the middle kind of guy.
I mean, Santos, maybe. Like,
it doesn't have to be a straight up baby face. Yeah.
Carmelo, who won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Shout out to Carmelo Hayes. I know he's a heel too, technically. So there's some opportunities there. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, next up, match number 5, El Grande Americano taking on Rey Fénix. As you mentioned, Tim, earlier in the show, Rey Mysterio unfortunately could not compete. He had the groin injury. He was out. Rey Fénix came in. Actually kind of worked out nicely because on SmackDown, there was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Rey Fénix eliminated Chad Gable. And later in the match, Rey Fénix got eliminated by El Grande Americano, who came out of nowhere in a hooded outfit and took out Rey Fénix, eliminated him. So it kind of worked out perfectly as far as, okay, Rey Mysterio is not able to wrestle at WrestleMania. You got Rey Fénix. You have the story that happened 24 hours earlier built in right there. So it was a natural segue.
Very unconsequential too. Like it wasn't like Rey got hurt early and then they set that up. It was all before Rey's injury.
Yeah, so nice little coincidence there. So El Grande Americano comes out to the ring. I love that they put like the yellow old school filter on the camera. He has the mariachi band playing him out. I thought it was hilarious. And I think he's just really selling as a heel, the luchador heel character that he is. Rey Fénix comes out. Super happy for Rey Fénix. The guy just made his debut 3 weeks ago, if that, roughly. Yeah. And so he gets a WrestleMania match. Shout out his brother Penta. It was cool. There's video footage, fan footage of him. Not too far ringside, but he came out with a
side stage or whatever.
Yeah, with like a bandana covering his face, and you can see him wiping tears from his eyes. He was just so happy seeing his brother wrestle as well at WrestleMania. So it was cool. The Lucha Bros got their both WrestleMania debuts this weekend. So super happy.
Wasn't supposed to happen, but something came, and Tony Khan said, "Y'all can leave now."
I know. Well, hopefully one day we'll find out exactly what happened there.
Right.
So for the match itself, it was a lot of fun. I mean, these two guys, obviously incredible athletes, incredible in-ring performers. Chad Gable, El Grande Americano, incredible match there. The big takeaway though was as we saw Fénix, he was trying to run the ropes, but El Grande Americano tripped him. Then the ref was distracted. That's when El Grande Americano put the little steel plate in his mask. That's something he's been doing on Raw the last couple weeks to pick up victories. So as Fénix was running to kick him in the face, but obviously he kicked the steel plate in the mask and that injured his foot, took out Rey Fénix.
I love how Cole didn't figure that out and Pat had to tell him.
I know, exactly.
Is he hurt? Did he land wrong? And Pat's like, no, he kicked the metal plate, Cole. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And then we saw El Grande Americano capitalize on that injured foot and put Rey Fénix in the ankle lock. And then Fénix reversed it in a cradle for 2. And then Rey Fénix came off the top rope. But then El Grande Americano just flat out headbutted him coming off the rope. And then Rey Fénix sold it perfectly, just fell flat dead in the middle of the ring. And then El Grande Americano hit a diving headbutt to pick up the win. So very cool. El Grande Americano picked up the win. We saw was it earlier Vikingo got involved in the match. Was it El Grande who pushed him?
Yeah, he went over to him at the ringside area and he kind of pushed him. He pushed him back and
And then Vikingo came in the ring to help Rey Fenix out. Vikingo there obviously because the announcement earlier in the day that WWE has acquired AAA. I will save that discussion when we talk Raw after Mania and we get some clickbait news and stuff like that. We'll save that discussion because I really want to talk in depth about that. So we'll save that discussion later. But dude, the match was incredible. Let me ask you though, El Grande Americano, it's like the fans are cheering for him, even though he's a heel. Do you think he's doing too many cool things in the ring that he's a heel? Maybe he should kind of tone it down to give people a reason to hate him more. Like, what do you think about his appeal to the WWE universe so far?
I get where you're coming from, but when you watch Mexican luchador wrestling, heels and babyfaces are all just doing the cool moves anyways.
Okay.
So it's like, when you think about it in that regard, it's okay. I understand it. Yeah, don't do as many flashy moves because American fans are going to think that's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's doing too much. I think, Chad Gable has added a few new moves, some like flying arm bars and arm drags and stuff, which is really cool to see. But for the most part, he's still just wrestling a Chad Gable match.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens next. I think it's a little bit of a happy accident. Rey Fenix taking on this match and Rey Mysterio sitting it out. Because now you give this rivalry or this story of El Grande Americano a little bit more, some legs. It could last a little bit longer. I think what's going to happen, obviously, the big reveal, El Grande Americano is going to lose. He's going to lose his mask, and it's going to be revealed. It's Chad Gable under there. And to be like, I told you so. But I think you save that for a moment. You can let this burn for a little bit longer.
You save it till June, and that's the main event of the World's Collide show is a mask versus mask match.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting to. It's like, because of this new deal with AAA, you could do a lot here. And yes, this could be saved for a big moment at Worlds Collide with the AAA NXT joint show.
So I know I've seen a lot of people go, well, if Rey can get cleared by then, if Rey's fine by then, do Rey versus El Grande Americano, mask versus mask. That'd be cool. But it's like, do you want it to be Rey or somebody in WWE? Or do you want somebody from AAA to have to step up and beat this guy? Because maybe El Grande Americano beats everybody in WWE.
That'd be cool. And he's like,
now Vikingo doesn't have a mask, but maybe you do mask versus hair or something.
Yeah, or something special on the line for him. Okay, I dig that. I can.
So that way you get a WWE guy and a AAA guy in the main event, if that's the route they go as the main event.
And it'd be cool seeing a AAA guy pick up the victory.
Yep.
Because jumping ahead to the discussion, but I think a lot of people are always worried when WWE is in working relationships with another company or buys another company, the WWE guys always go over and never puts over the other company. What better way to kind of maybe tone down those negative impressions or negative worries is having a AAA person be the one to defeat El Grande Americano and rip the mask off. That could be a really cool moment there. So, and kind of show like, hey, AAA people, we're going to treat them right. So I think that could be a really cool moment. So next up, Shawn Michaels comes out, announces the attendance of 61,467 people.
That man had to be tired.
He looked so tired.
Hall of Fame went till like 1 o'clock local time.
And Triple H was the last one that he inducted.
Who knows how late he stayed up after that? And NXT had a 5 a.m. Call. Show up to call deal. Yeah.
At Stand and Deliver, get up and do that. So I hope he got a nap in at some point, a power nap. But I just like how he was walking out and he was like, you can see the card. What was the number on his big bold letters there? All right. The next match was Tiffany Stratton defending the WWE Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. Obviously, I think a lot of people were more intrigued how this match was going to play out based on just the negative reaction from all their promos the last few weeks and just how things were going off script and rumors of people saying things not supposed to say and creating a lot of controversy and upsetting people behind the scenes. Is this going to turn into a shoot fight? Can they actually
in a little bit?
Can they turn into a real? Can they be professional and still have a good match together? The match was okay. It was, a
20-minute match.
little sloppy at some points. But it was, I don't know.
Have you seen Tiffany's face since?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing was, so like about halfway through, it looked like her lip got busted open. People thought like her teeth were missing. Her mouth was bleeding, and then she revealed afterwards like her teeth were all there. It was just all the blood that was on her teeth, kind of cover it up. It looked like a chipped tooth. But yeah, no, she had a busted lip open, so she definitely got busted open.
Well, then her forehead.
Oh yeah, the bruise on her forehead too.
Yeah, no, she can't even like. There's a picture of her at one of like the WWE After Dark events, like the next night, and like she's got all her makeup on, and this bruise is still just popping through the makeup.
Oh god,
yeah,
that must hurt though, right on the forehead too. Oh man, so, but yeah. Anyway, the match itself, my one issue was like they're both wearing similar ring gear. Their blonde hair, like it's to me, it was like it looked like twins wrestling each other.
I want to know what Mickie James thought about what Charlotte was wearing.
I know exactly.
She was wearing some skimpy bottoms.
I know. So that was my thing. It was just they kind of were dressed similar. The match, it was like the chemistry doesn't feel like it's fully there, and I don't know. It just didn't seem super smooth. Now, granted, I don't want to be a hypocrite of what I just said as far as. Sometimes when it's a little messy, that can represent more of a realistic fight here. But I don't know. It just felt like neither one of them could really get on the same page together. It was a half decent match here. I don't know. How about you? Anything else that kind of stood out for you with this match?
So I get what you're saying about the whole, you said in one match, not being perfect was good, but in this match, not being perfect wasn't good because it's different. It's like, okay, if all your moves don't look smooth, that's one thing. But if you're like Charlotte Flair, stiffen her. And I'm trying to find, I think it was a Fightful thing. Fightful had a little bit more on this. I'm trying to find it here now. It's like a backstage reaction to how the match went.
Okay.
Let's see. I remember reading something. Now I don't know where they posted it, but it was basically like confirming Charlotte was stiff with some of her shots, like purposefully.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Now I love Tiffany's entrance though.
Oh yeah,
cool. The Barbie boxes.
Yeah,
and so what a lot of people didn't realize was, I Googled it and researched it and looked it up because I'm a nerd for this kind of stuff. People thought when it was the two boxes on the side where it was the videos, people thought, oh, they just filmed a bunch, like filmed a long sequence and put it on. That was I think it's like they filmed maybe a 10-second clip, and it was an AI company that came in and produced the video. So that was all AI to extend it out as long as they needed it to be for the entrance.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
now,
wow,
if it was me, again, me being nitpicky, and because like the whole time, I think it was Pat. I can't tell which one's the real Tiffany. I'm just like, okay, well, I know what they could have done to make it better. Like the box Tiffany was in needed a white backdrop. The lighting should have been cooler instead of so warm. Like that's just me and my production side nitpicking things to make everything look more cohesive. But I thought it was really cool. And Tiffany had said I think it was the post-show press conference, because they asked her about the entrance. They're like, well, was this your idea or somebody else's idea? And she says, well, I've always had an idea where I wanted to come out of a Barbie box. And Triple H approached me with this whole thing. And it was like, hey, I've had this idea for a while. It's something I've wanted to do. And because she said, a gimmick I've always wanted to do, even before I was in WWE, when I first started training with Rip Rogers, was I wanted to be not your atypical Barbie, but the muscular Barbie. So girls like me have someone to look up to and like a Barbie. So I thought that was really cool. But the match itself, I mean, I don't think it needed to go 20 minutes, but I get it. It's the semi-main, so you want to give it time. It's a title match. You want to give it time. Yeah. But again, Charlotte, she was stiff with some of her shots. As we see, Tiffany's got hematoma basically growing on her forehead. So, ouch. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I wouldn't give it any real kudos.
Yeah, so Charlotte was attacking Tiffany's knee before she tried to do the figure four. Tiffany got out of it by punching Charlotte's injured knee, and then Tiffany chop blocked her and hit a Finley roll. Tiffany went for a PME, but Charlotte got her knees up and applied a small package for 2. And then Charlotte dropped Tiffany off the top rope, fall with the natural selection for a near fall. And then Charlotte was doing some trash talking. And so Tiffany smacked her. And then Charlotte went for a figure 4 again, but Stratton got out of it and hit an Alabama slam into the turnbuckle. And then Tiffany fall with a Finley roll and a BME for the pinfall win. So do want to give Charlotte kudos for putting over Tiffany.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, in the last 2 WrestleMania, she put over Tiffany Stratton and she put over Rhea Ripley. So for Charlotte, you know, that's one criticism you cannot give her, is that she is helping put over the younger talent.
No, she didn't put over Rhea.
Oh, she beat Rhea.
Rhea match was 2 years ago, 39, right. And she won that one.
That's
last
right.
year.
Sorry.
Becky put over Rhea.
That's right. Sorry, I'm getting so mixed up. I'm sorry about that. So yes, you're right. She beat Charlotte. Charlotte beat Rhea.
So here's the interesting thing too. For like 2 weeks, Charlotte was the betting odds favorite. Then like late Friday night, early Saturday morning, it shifted to Tiffany. I don't know how these people are finding this stuff out, but
well, I think Triple H is doing his best to kind of cut down some of these leaks. So we'll see what happens, how those play out later.
Technically, it's illegal to have inside plants feeding you information if you're putting betting odds on it. So
exactly,
just saying. I don't know if they're like over here reading the Observer or something, trying to figure it
out. Next up, we saw some highlights from the 2025 Hall of Fame class. Triple H, speaking as well. Then we saw Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Michelle McCool, Tugboat, and family were on stage as they were introduced to a live crowd. I was surprised Lex Luger was not there, but is it true he went to WrestleCon instead because he made more money?
Oh, I don't know about that part, but I'll read you what Lex actually said. I'm going to pull this up right here.
Okay. As you type that up, and then Triple H came out at the end. He was the last one introduced, and he shook hands. I laughed when he went over to shake Stone Cold and Bret Hart's hand. As he turned his back and walked away, Bret Hart just made a funny face.
Yeah.
This guy. Bret Hart. Don't change, Bret Hart. Just keep being that grumpy guy that you are. We love it.
Lex was on the Ariel Helwani show, and I don't fully understand what he's saying here, but I'll read verbatim what he said. He said, quote, so he's talking about how he was there on Friday night. It was a late night, and apparently he said it on the Hall of Fame. He took some sort of a bump, fell getting into like the, what do you say, like the Uber or something, and that's why he needed the wheelchair on Friday. He wanted to actually be able to walk out, but he couldn't because he hurt himself. Anyways, he then stated, quote, the next day on Saturday, I could hardly get out of bed. So I just called the guys, and they were so cool about it, and said, look, we'd love to have you here. Let's see how you feel later today. But it was obviously by late afternoon at the time that I was going to go, and it was just too late to get out there. But then he went to WrestleCon. So how is he saying I couldn't get out of bed, but he went to WrestleCon?
Okay, because like I said, people online were saying he went to WrestleCon because he could make more money.
That's why I don't get it. He was like, the next day on Saturday, I could hardly get out of bed. You go out of bed for WrestleCon.
Wow. Well, hope he's okay. So the total package, man.
Yeah, he just said, where was it? There was something else where he was like, it was just so much on Friday that he was just beat down and his body couldn't. Yeah. But it's like, but again, he went to WrestleCon, so it's like he wasn't that bad off.
He heard cha-ching signs and was like, all right, I'm gonna go over there. I feel good.
We wanted to go WrestleCon, hang out with Sting.
Yeah, that is true. It was cool. Sting was dressed up Wolfpack Sting.
Yeah. He's got that cool beard and goatee thing going.
Dude, that is crazy. I love it. All right, main event time, the triple threat match between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. It's cool. Seth Rollins came out in black clothes. Lights go off, comes out with, then it switches up to white clothes. Had the flamethrower beforehand as well. That was awesome. Roman Reigns came out with black and white. Was it Jordans? I'm guessing he was wearing. Kind of just a nice little small detail change. No red on him, so he's like black and white gear now. So is the bloodline red reference completely gone now? CM Punk came out with Living Color performing Cult of Personality, and I do want Brian Alvarez. I saw the video clip. He's like, In Living Color. He's like, no, In Living Color was the TV show on Fox with Jim.
Yeah,
Carrey,
no, not in
the Wayne's family, Keen Ivory Wayne's creation.
Jim Carrey.
No. Jim Carrey, that's their show. That's the show that was on Fox early 90s, In Living Color. This is Living Color, the band, and they spelled their name COLOUR. Yep. So I was like, me working in rock radio, I was like, no, it's Living Color. But shout out to Living Color, man. They sounded great doing Cult of Personality. I know they played the night before on Fremont Street in Las Vegas. That looked like a packed concert. Sounded great here doing it. I love the lead singer getting a selfie with CM Punk as he's walking by. And isn't really the last time they did that was
29.
12 years ago in 2013.
Yes. WrestleMania 29.
And that was the last CM Punk WrestleMania match.
Mm-hmm.
So very cool. 12 years later, they do it again. They run it back. So that was awesome. I thought that looked so cool. But yeah, so they come out the ring.
What I thought was also cool is the video package they played beforehand with his first WWE theme. And if you see video from inside the building, everybody was singing that song too.
Yes, the Kill Switch Engage song. That's awesome. I love Kill Switch Engage too. That's an incredible song. And which actually, fun fact, I think that song Randy Orton used once to come out to the ring with.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Check it out. I think it's on YouTube. Randy Orton came out to that Kill Switch Engage song one time, and then they scrapped it and then used it later for CM Punk. So, are you looking on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right here.
Okay. Yeah. Check it out. Speaking of
Randy Orton once used CM Punk's The Fire Burns entrance music before it was given to CM Punk because they felt it fit better for him.
Cool. Yep. All right. Sweet. So they come out the ring. Paul Heyman coming out with CM Punk. That was cool. You know, it's clobbering time, but he had to watch out, helping him out. The match itself was awesome. I know triple threat matches, depending who's in the match, it could be kind of. I feel like most triple matches, maybe WWE triple matches, I should say, it usually starts out all three guys or gals working together, and then usually one gets forced outside, and then it turns to a one-on-one match. It really just turns in constant one-on-one matches when one, and then the third person takes a rest break. I feel like that's what a lot of times it happens. All three are wrestling, and then one person gets knocked aside. They take a rest break. The other two go at it, and then that person comes back, and then another person takes a break. And they just kind of rotate for a while. But this match, man, it was so much fun to watch. I don't know what your thoughts on how this played out.
Well, I thought it was great. It's a 33-minute match.
Yeah.
And it was action almost the entire time until it needed to slow down at the end for Paul Heyman to tell his story. And so I thought that was great, that it flowed very well. It told, and I said this on my review on Saturday night, unlike many other matches we see on big pay-per-views, this told the story from start to finish. The whole match told the story, and it wasn't just get to that next spot, get to that next spot, get to that high spot here. No, there was a reason, and you could tell in this match, there's a reason everything happened. The funniest thing for me in this match was to give CM Punk, Roman, give CM Punk that power bomb onto the table. And I say like that for a reason. He power bombs him on the table breaks. He then grabs Seth and power bombs him through the table. He slammed Seth about 3 times harder through that other table.
What I love was it Seth was like trying to say like, let's do a shield power bomb. And Roman's like, no. And he like punches
the uppercut.
Seth, uppercuts him. And there was another moment there in the ring. Seth like, you and me, Roman, we need to team up and take out CM Punk. We cannot let him take over WWE. So Seth was trying to play some mind games and trying to get Roman to working with him. And Roman's like, no, screw you. I don't like you. I never forgot who you are. So that was cool. So let's talk about this finish here. Heyman was worried all match long, obviously, because he's in the corner of CM Punk, not with Roman Reigns, and they're going at it. So Paul Heyman finally gets up, grabs a chair, walks towards the ring, and he looks up at both CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and he gives CM Punk the chair. He slides it to him, but then Paul Heyman walks into the ring. I'm like, oh no, what's going on here? Like, it's like, I was like, oh, cool. Paul Heyman's going to help CM Punk. But the fact he got in the ring, I'm like, oh no, something's going to happen.
So my first thought was, oh, he's really helping Roman. Okay.
Yeah. So
because, and Paul Heyman said this on McAfee's show. He was like, hey, I was told to be in Punk's corner, not assist Punk in any way.
Oh my God. Okay.
So he's using Punk's words against him technically.
Yeah. So, Paul Heyman gets in the ring. Let's see. And then Punk holds up the chair and he starts walking towards Roman Reigns. But then Paul Heyman's like walking behind Punk. And then sure enough, falls to his knees, low blow CM Punk from behind. Then Paul Heyman grabs the chair, hands it to Roman Reigns. Then Roman Reigns starts beating the crap out of CM Punk with that chair.
He doesn't just hand it to Roman. He gets down on one knee and presents it to Roman.
Yes. So Roman starts smiling and laughing. He's like, all right, my wise man Spartan up. He's back with me. We're good. And so that moment, Roman thinks he's good to win this match. So he's beating the crap out of CM Punk with that chair. And then, Seth's starting to get up. He's climbing up the rope. So he has his back to everyone with the action going on. And then Paul Heyman's like telling Roman, go take out Seth now, hit him with the chair, kind of recreate when he turned on each other with the Shield. So Roman starts walking up with the chair, getting ready to swing on Seth Rollins, but sure enough, Paul Heyman drops down to his knees and low blows Roman Reigns and like sticks it like he's like twisting his arm.
Extra made sure he got that.
He was fisting him so hard.
Right?
So Paul Heyman gave Roman Reigns that low blow, and then Seth Rollins turned around, saw what happened. He kind of smirked because he kind of knew what was going on. And then Paul Heyman gave the chair to Seth Rollins.
Never looked him in the eye, though. He just handed the chair over to Seth.
Yeah. And then nailed Roman Reigns with the chair. Let's see. And then Seth hit the curb stomp and got the pinfall on Roman Reigns. Yep. I thought that was very interesting. Roman Reigns took the pinfall here in this match. And then, Paul Heyman held up Seth Rollins' hand in victory. New alliance here between Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. Now, listen, we're recording on Tuesday. Like I said, we're going to save a future episode talking about the Raw after Mania, what happens there with this whole alliance, what this all can mean. So we'll save that discussion in depth for a future episode. But for this match, focus on this match here. I thought it was awesome. It makes you wonder, Seth and Heyman. I'm sure we'll get more of an explanation later.
So, speaking of that, I know where you're going, and he talked about this on McAfee. McAfee said, or one of the guys on McAfee show, I can't remember which one asked him this, but like, how long has this plan been in place, Paul? And he's like, it was the in the moment thing. That's what he said.
Interesting.
Storyline is, it was in the moment to give that chair to Seth and let him do what he was going to do.
Okay. So it makes you wonder on Raw, was it, I guess, be 2 weeks ago now, when Seth was talking to Paul Heyman, it's like, listen, both these guys you care about, Roman Reigns, your tribal chief, like he didn't make the save on you when Solo took you out and you were under Solo's control. He never made the save. He like sat at home for 4 months. That's not right. CM Punk, he comes back to the company. He's said up front, he's all about making money, not friends. He doesn't care about you. So these two guys you're worshiping, they don't care about you. Me, on the other hand, I care about you. So it makes you wonder, Seth finally got into Paul Heyman's head and realized, screw these two guys that I've been putting so much time and energy into. They don't reciprocate that love for me. So it makes you wonder, that's what Seth finally convinced him to turn on both those guys and align himself with Rollins. So this partnership is going to be interesting. Listen, I know a new layer was added this past Monday. Like I said, we'll save that discussion later, but just kind of your initial takeaway from the big reveal, these two working together now.
I mean, if we think about how long he's been with Roman Reigns, I guess, you could say it's time for a change.
Yeah.
Roman can now do his thing. Roman's around a lot less. Heyman seemingly wants to still be around more. So if he wants to be around more, he's not going to be doing stuff with Solo and them. So you need something new for Paul to do. You put Paul with a new guy that is going to be there just about every week, if not every single week. And I like it. He goes now with the guy. So it's like, think about this. He basically left Brock Lesnar for Brock's big foe at the time. Now he's leaving Roman for Roman's big foe right now. He's just going with, this guy's now working better than the guy I'm with, and they don't like each other. And well, I'm just going to go with that guy now. So it's like there's a pattern here. So now who is Seth going to work with in the next 4 years that Paul's going to turn on Seth for?
Well, maybe the guy we saw Monday night. Just throwing it out there. We'll save that. But no, I was going to say real quick. I mean, keep in mind also wasn't 20 years ago when Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar and worked with the Big Show. So we saw that too back in the day. So here's the thing before I forget. Let me see. Okay. I put this on Twitter. What's next for Roman Reigns? Over the last year, he lost everything that helped him have power in WWE. Roman lost the championship at WrestleMania 40. He lost the bloodline. That's gone, dissolved now. There's no more Paul Heyman in his corner. Roman Reigns is all alone. And keep in mind, Cody Rhodes predicted this last year in their build to their match that once you lose your championship, you lose everything else, domino effect. So Cody Rhodes got that prediction right. And then I added, now that Roman Reigns has hit rock bottom, this could be a perfect time for Roman to do some soul searching and begin his redemption arc to come back as one of the biggest baby faces in WWE. Now, I know we saw Roman Reigns on Raw this week as well. We can save that discussion as well for later. But that's what I'm getting at here. It's like, okay, I thought when he came back at SummerSlam last year, that was going to be the beginning of his redemption arc of like, hey, I lost the title, being this narcissistic asshole. It's not working for me. I've lost everything. I need to change up my game plan. But sure enough, ever since he came back at SummerSlam last year, up until now, he's kind of maintained the same personality traits. So it seems like he hasn't learned anything.
Well, you want some more bad news about Roman?
What's that?
He might be gone till the summer.
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Well, that's the word going around. He might be taking a month or two off or so.
Oh, geez. Well, but that's what I'm getting at here. So when he came back, he still had Paul. Ultimately, he had Paul Heyman come back around to him eventually. We saw with the War Games storyline and the reunion of the OG bloodline, all that stuff. But that's what I'm getting at. It's like, okay, now he lost the final piece that made him the powerful superstar that we're known for these last 5 years as the tribal chief. Losing Paul Heyman was that last piece. So now you can officially say he hit rock bottom. And now I think this could be the start of Roman Reigns doing some soul searching, realizing, okay, what I did in the past, I can't do anymore. It's not working for me. That's not who I am now. I need to correct my ways, correct my errors. And this begins the redemption arc storyline for Roman Reigns. Keep in mind, there's going to be a lot of people who don't like Roman Reigns and still think he's the bloodline leader and all that stuff. Very similar to what Jey Uso went through when he went on his own over on Raw and just like trying to fix those relationships. Yeah.
Here's the difference to that. Jay's full-time there every week.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Also, did you hear what Roman said about his contract and his future?
He has expires next year's WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So he said
he wants to do like maybe 2 more years after that.
So Roman's words were, my contract expires at WrestleMania 42. Then I do maybe another year or two, and then I look for a less physical form of entertainment to be involved with.
Movies.
Yeah, most likely.
Okay.
So we may only have Roman for about 2-3 years.
All right. So they got to get this redemption arc going quick.
How old is Roman Reigns?
39, I think.
He's going to be 40 in a month.
Okay. Yeah. So that's my thing. It's now CM Punk, on the other hand, he is now going to be probably even bigger baby face now. It's like he got screwed over, and now everyone's going to want to see him get his revenge on Seth Rollins and anyone else gets in his way. So CM Punk is even more over. And I hope CM Punk, I'm just calling it now, early prediction, he wins the Royal Rumble next year, and he's going to main event night 2 of WrestleMania next year. That's the goal.
CM Punk?
CM Punk. I'm just throwing it out there. Early prediction.
So who does he face as a champion? Go over the world title, go over the WWE title, regardless. Who's the guy? Who's the champion at the time, though?
I think Drew McIntyre should be champion by then. Running back with their...
Do Drew and CM Punk in the main event?
Throwing it out there. Okay.
That'd be cool. I'd like that.
Yeah. And because it would be over a year.
For the world title, have Drew beat Jay.
Yep.
And then go... Yeah, I like that.
Or, just throwing it out there. But then again, I think Seth is probably going to go after that world title. I think Seth is going to be one who's going to dethrone Jay by SummerSlam.
Right.
So, unfortunately, I don't think Jay's going to have a super long title reign, but...
Oh, okay. Do we get the Seth and Punk singles match in the main event of WrestleMania next year? Punk wasn't pinned.
Okay. Ooh, there we go.
And listen, remember, and we're getting back to Raw stuff, but Heyman said something about this is going to be your number 1 guy coming around next year's Mania. Seth Rollins.
Okay. So, yeah, you do Seth versus Punk for the world title main event night 2 next year at WrestleMania in New Orleans, WrestleMania 42. So,
in New Orleans, where Punk was supposed to face Triple H and left 2 months beforehand or whatever, and never got that match.
And that would be 12 years later. What, 2014 when that happened?
Yep.
So,
12 years.
Okay. All right. So, all right, you and I were hires WWE. We got your booking decisions done for you already. Put us on that Unreal, or was it Unreal on Netflix?
WWE Unreal, yep.
Yeah. So, all right, but yeah, night 1, still a fun show to watch. Of course, it's WrestleMania. It's always gonna be fun. So, all right, we'll save everything. We'll talk about night 2 next episode. In the following episode, we're gonna talk a lot of clickbait news. We're gonna talk a lot about Raw after Mania. So much has been going on. So let's wrap up this episode. Tim, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find all my wrestling stuff at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, whether that's on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, Instagram.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or you can follow us on like Twitter and TikTok at PW Unlimited. And then you can find all my personal stuff over at Timmy Buddy.
And I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. I'm on TikTok as well. I've been doing more posting there as well. What's my TikTok again? It is Baby Huey 1983. Baby Huey 1983. You can see a lot of my clips there. I've been posting. Of course, for everything else at In The Kliq. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. What were your reactions, your thoughts for night one of WrestleMania? What was your favorite moment? What didn't you like about night one? Let us know down below. Hit that subscribe button. Share the episode. Tell a family. Tell your friend. Give us a thumbs up. Leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Do all the things. You know what to do at this point to help the algorithm. InTheKliq@gmail.com. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.